Earlier before you came over, Mr. Abdullah was showing me about a person in Istanbul who definitely did a lot of things in media, and he started from zero level, and again, he's a big guy now.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about that when you were showing me that. I was thinking about, when you just said how far we've come and how far you've come. We'll get into that. Now in 2022, forget about the Visit Nepal 2020. I don't even want to talk about that at the moment. When we think about the upcoming years, when we think about right from now, the upcoming another 8 years, 2030, 2040, 2050. Not forget about sustainability for just a second. By 2050, putting Nepal in the map, like literally right there. Center. What are the things that you would recommend that we should definitely go out and start doing, like right now, right from now? If something that you had to go out and do.
Yeah, for tourism, I can say, if I talk about tourism part, it should be prioritized. Everybody should understand what tourism is. I mean, because tourism is not only like for commercial reasons, it's sharing your country's beauty with the other people, then the things continue coming. I mean, you don't need to worry after that. If you go with that mindset, everything will be like that. First, we need to understand that country cannot survive with the remittance money. We should increase the productivity in the country. I think one of the main things, if a little bit to other areas, but we should discuss about the export level of the country. It's $30 per person. You just produce $30 in a year to sell out. So, but there is potential here, agriculture and other things. Why I say tourism? Because whenever you look at all reports for especially LDC countries, tourism and aviation is the key sectors to trigger the other sectors. Because when you build a hotel, it means construction industry is also getting advantage of that. When you build a hotel and bring guests to there, then agriculture industry is selling some products to them. So your transportation industry also has to grow up accordingly. Your roads has to be done accordingly. So this is a kind of mindset change again, what happened in electricity. We need something in tourism areas to understand that when you touch this area, you will touch to all areas. Mm-hmm. I think that's critical. I'm not saying for a vision 2050, but at the moment, at least for moving with strong steps, you have to target a little bit big numbers. Since you said Visit Nepal year 2020, more than the maybe name and other things, we want people to visit here. I mean, sometimes you use the mottos to make it fast. So target 2 million, they are all achievable targets. I always say that the target for Nepal should be 5 million. But targeting 5 million doesn't mean that, okay, let's reach to 5 million. It's not like that. You have to plan the steps, how you can reach there.
So what he was trying to say, if we're going to go ahead and have, tomorrow, if we have 5 million people here, we're finished.
Yeah.
Forget about 5 million.
So you
tomorrow,
should be
right?
ready for that. And everything has to go parallel. I mean, you cannot be, you cannot have an airport and nobody coming to there. You cannot have big aircrafts but nobody flying in them. You cannot have a, let's say, capacity of 1 million but can invite 5 million people. So everything should go parallel, step by step, one level up, each of them, one level up. And there should not be a big gap between them. I mean, if you grow on this area, you have to grow on this area also. So means when you try to bring more tourists, yes, your infrastructure has to support them. And also when you build airport, you should bring the airlines to there. Just to give an example, that target 2 million, and I said numbers are not important. The direction is more important. But just to give an example, for reaching from 1 million to 2 million, means 1 million additional tourists, and most of them will come by air. So means daily, roughly I am calculating, around 3,000 more people you have to bring. So roughly, tourists, we are talking about at least 3,000 more people to come.
How many people come now, Mr. Abdullah? Rough estimate?
I think it's not recovered yet, but we are around 65% of.
I think so. Yeah.
Around 65% of the number. I don't have
the around 500,000. Maybe.
Around half a million.
No, what I'm trying to say is daily how many people show up here? Tourists, I mean, give or take.
Tourists depends. At this time, not so many. But from September, it will start increasing for sure.
Yeah.
But main thing is, when you have to understand this numbers, when you say the numbers, you have to understand them also.
Yeah.
So daily 3,000 people comes means daily at least 25 more flights has to come to this country. At least 25. So at least 25 flights means you need airlines to fly that 25 flights. So we'll do that. Plus also, of course, how we will maintain that flights. We all need to think about this, you know. If you don't think and you just say, okay, we need 2 million people, it doesn't work. So that is the steps, one by one, which should be planned.
What's your take on? Sorry, go for it.
All right. No, I think he's hit the nail on the head, actually. I mean, when you ask that question in 2040 or 2050, if Nepal can be center of, in terms of image, right? At the end of the day, it's an image. Yeah, we talked about Bosnia. There's a brand, right?
Yeah,
you have got a certain image of Bosnia.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a certain image of Colombia. You've got a certain image of DRC, Congo. Yeah, you've got a certain image of Mauritania. So it's all image, right? And if you want to create that image, really, to just answer your question, the image has to come from people from outside. You cannot have the image yourself and just say, I'm it. Doesn't make any sense, right? Image is actually from people from outside, looking at in the inside. And that image comes from either you, and it can be a negative image, can be a positive image. Now, let's talk about that also, right? Because there could be a positive image like Norway or Finland or Denmark or, you see what I mean? It can be very positive images or it can be very negative images that you can have. Right? We want a positive image, obviously.
Of course.
Obviously, right? So if you're talking about that, then we have to have that, again, I go back to the same thing that I say, singularity of purpose, right? That purpose has to be very clear. And that purpose comes through tourism. It will not come because we sell our labor outside. It will not come because of that. Or because of that labor telling everybody that Nepal is great. That is not going to work, right? What is happening is going to be people coming into the country or understanding the country from the image that we give out of the country. People don't even have to come to the country to get the image of the country. Yeah. But you have to portray that image of that country, right? And to bring that forward is tourism. And if for tourism to function, now if you just take it step by step, just answering a question, we need to first try to get our ministry to be technical. Right, because I was talking about the environment that needs to be there for tourism to happen, right? And it's about the infrastructure of flights. I understand that. These are technicalities, right? To make that happen, we need to understand, do the calculation. And for that, the big problem that we have right now in Nepal is that our ministry is not technical. It's made up of administrators. And admin people are never going to understand tourism. You need people with tourism degrees sitting in the tourism departments. And those guys will start saying, will talk like Abdullah. Yeah, they'll start talking numbers. They'll start talking, okay, where's the flights? They'll not just say, bring a figure. Just do a spreadsheet and say, so much tax will come. That's not good enough, right? And to create the right environment, again, for tourism to happen and try to bring all these things together, the coordination, the cooperation that we talk about, that is really required to move those, steps forward and the right thinking to take that image forward. We really need that to happen. And without that, I think we'll just be talking in there. We'll probably still reach 5 million because it's just progression in tourism, right? Yeah, but we'll probably not get the image that we really want.
And I, same things, I am using that term now. It's an ecosystem.
Yeah,
so that ecosystem has to be created. Ecosystem from everywhere. From your farmers, from your transportation, from your roads, from your hotels, from your skilled
from your
industry
media.
People, from your media. It's all of them should be together, should grow up gradually, when you move forward. You cannot leave anyone behind.
Yeah.
So it means that it's total kind of movement. And when countries exporting 600,000 people a year to outside as a labor, we should discuss how we can keep these people by creating more business opportunities, starting triggered with tourism, but touched to other areas.
If you love what we are doing, make sure that you subscribe and turn on notifications.
This program is brought to you by Vyas Studios.
Thank you very much for watching us on YouTube. Make sure that you also listen to us on Spotify.